here's what I can guarantee. I'll be back. The next time I'm back, I may not be wearing a suit. The first time I came here, I was in jeans and a backpack. One of the challenges of traveling and visiting Kenya is that I'm much more constrained now than I will be. And I think that you can anticipate not only me being back, but probably more important for everybody, Michelle being back, and Malia and Sasha coming back.
Well, hackers have caused alarm by using a news organisation's Twitter account to claim the US president had been assassinated. Just hours before Barack Obama celebrated Independence Day with his family and military personnel at the White House, Fox News tweeted he'd been shot dead while campaigning in Iowa. The messages were removed 10 hours later. The Secret Service is investigating.
Thing is, now with Obama dead, terrorism won't be so prevalent in the Arab world.
Barack Obama!
A tan horse, really?
That's right. It is I, Barack Obama, 44th President of the realm, defender of rational thought and the use of data to make informed
Show us your birth certificate!
I'll be taking the numbers, man, with me.
Thanks, Obama. But where will we go?
To a place far away, where innovation and new ideas are welcome. The MIT Sloan Sports Analytics Conference.
First of all, giving honor to God and our Lord and Savior, Barack Obama.
And he said unto them, I beheld Satan as lightning fall from heaven.
Be still and know that I am God, that I am God, that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations, I will be exalted in the earth.
And power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations. All that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world.
Tonight, for the first time, I am releasing my official birth video. Let's take a look. Be exalted among the nations, will be exalted in the earth.
And power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations. All that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world.
You will never see it coming.
Back in 2008, a largely unknown U.S. Senator named Barack Obama wrote a book called Dreams from My Father, and it was a bestseller. And in this book, there are some interesting similarities between Obama and the character T'Challa, who is the king of Wakanda in the new movie Black Panther, which has just been released by Marvel. There is a scene in the movie where he actually meets his father in a dream and turns around and hears the phrase, "It's time," which is exactly what Obama wrote in his book, Dreams from My Father. Let me read this Excerpt. I heard the growl of a leopard. We know that panthers are part of the leopard family, and it's actually an interchangeable term. So this could say, I heard the growl of a panther. It goes on to say, a giant figure looming as tall as the trees. Think, Nephilim, Goliath, a giant wearing only a loincloth and a ghostly mask. The lifeless eyes bored into me, and I heard a thunderous voice saying, only that it was time. My entire body began to shake violently with the sound, as if I were breaking apart. Does that sound like a normal dream to you, and someone that would share that in a book so openly? It's crazy that this man became president and that the Americans voted for him twice. It shocks me. But nothing about this man shocks me anymore. He single-handedly turned this country literally upside down. He pushed for gay marriage, and it happened. Supreme Court ruling took place during his tenure. He won a Nobel Peace Prize before he was even in office, and then went on to start more wars than any president, and used drone strikes like they were video games, and killed innocent children just with no remorse. You've seen the numbers, the ratings, all of that. But when I saw it, my jaw hit the ground. So spoiler alert, just in case you haven't seen it or you care about these things, don't watch the rest of this video. But if you want to be amazed at how this is mirroring real life events and events to come, then keep watching. So T'Challa, I'm going to just plug in the name Obama instead. Black Panther is one and the same. A panther is part of the leopard family, and the symbology there is pretty accurate in regards to the ties with the son of perdition, Antichrist figure found in the book of Revelation in the Bible. So early on in the film, he's challenged a couple of times, and he wins, just like Obama was challenged in the initial election, 2008, and then 2012, and he won, and he became the king, quote-unquote. And then eventually he is challenged by his long-lost cousin, and he is defeated and appears to be killed. So there is a major split in the withstanding government of Wakanda, the fictional country, and there is some loyalists that stick behind and sneak out important materials before they are found out as to being loyalist spies. And T'Challa / Obama uses this hidden power, like the FBI, deep state, CIA, that we are seeing just everywhere. He utilizes these leave-behinds, and he's able to challenge this usurper, his cousin. His name is Killmonger. After Killmonger takes over, he partakes of the heart-shaped herb, which is what gives the leader of Wakanda and the Black Panther his supernatural strength. My take on this was, after he takes it and he has his, ancestral plane visit with his own father, he then decides to burn up the source of this supernatural connection. He burns all the herbs. He's destroying everything behind him so he can be the last, Black Panther. And the way that this, obviously it shows the upside down paradigm here. It's showing you that it's all topsy-turvy. It's all flipped. T'Challa is painted as the good guy. Obama is painted as the good guy. And Killmonger the bad guy. Trump the bad guy.
It all began in the 1960s when Lord Oswell E. Spencer, Sir Edward Ashford, and James Marcus founded Umbrella based on their discovery of the progenitor virus. The progenitor virus was a virus found in a flower called the Stairway to the Sun. It was found in West Africa and was worshipped by a tribe of people known as the Nadi Paya, due to it being used as a way to choose those worthy of being their leader. You see, the legends state that those who survive eating the flower, thereby contracting the virus and obtaining superhuman strength and abilities, would be considered their leader. So, with the flower production locked down with laboratories built in Africa, and Spencer having his own fancy mansion that serves as a cover for his own laboratory up in the Arklay Mountains, Umbrella is officially in business, disguising their research into the progenitor virus with the front of being a legitimate pharmaceutical corporation that sells consumer products and cosmetics.
Our business is life itself.
Umbrella's ultimate goal was to completely change the face of war, and be the sole profiteers of its new form. They would develop bioorganic weaponry, or BOWs for short, utilizing hosts of the progenitor virus as superpowered mutated monsters. That was Umbrella's ultimate goal, but it wasn't Spencer's. Spencer wanted to create a new breed of humans, along with making himself immortal, and rule over them like a god. Point is, Spencer's a crazy, power-hungry madman who's using Umbrella and the research it's conducting to fulfill his own power fantasy. And to that end, he sets up Edward Ashford to be accidentally infected by the progenitor virus, killing him, and then he sends Marcus away to be the director of Umbrella's executive training center so that Spencer is in a position to have full control over the corporation. All while this is going on, research is being done on improving the progenitor virus to make it more stable, eventually leading to the development of the T-virus. Thus came the beginning of the virus that's really at the core of the Resident Evil series.
It doesn't matter. It's all the same show. They're all cousins. They're all related. It's just a pageant that we're witnessing.
On February 2nd, 2020, Miami played host to Super Bowl LIV, or 45, and all the satanic rituals that are attached to it. However, in Puxatawny, Pennsylvania, a state known as the Keystone State, which is a reference to Freemasonry, a different ritual was being held by a group of men wearing top hats called the Inner Circle. This was the ritual of Groundhog's Day.
And they are about to make a proclamation whether or not Phil is going to see his shadow. Will it be 6 more weeks of winter or an early spring?
The name Puxatawny means land of the sandflies. A sandfly is a blood-sucking fly, and thereby represents a vampire since it drinks blood. We know that one name for Satan is Beelzebub, or Lord of the Flies. The name Phil comes from philia, which means to love or be loved. You will notice they start the crowd to chant the name Phil.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have to wake Phil up. And to wake Phil up, we're going to do a chant. Phil, 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 Phil.
In essence, they are chanting words of love and adoration to Beelzebub. They also tap on the door of the cage 3 times with a cane.
We'll tap the cane, or with the cane, we're going to tap the doors 3 times. Gentlemen, get Phil out. Punxsutawney Phil!
Remember the ritual of knocking on the door, as we will come back to it later. The cane represents Tubal Cain in Freemasonry, and in Genesis chapter 4, verse 22, Tubal Cain is named as a descendant of Cain, the cursed bloodline and serpent seed. This inner circle go on to practice divination by using the groundhog to predict the early arrival of spring.
We got 2 scrolls here. One is winter, one is summer. What do you think, buddy? Huh?
The scriptures warn us about divination in Deuteronomy chapter 18, verse 10, which declares, "There shall not be found among you anyone that maketh his son or his daughter to pass through the fire, or that useth divination, or an observer of times, or an enchanter, or a witch." Moreover, the arrival of spring marks the vernal equinox when the sun enters Aries. To practitioners of the occult, this represents the resurrection of Horus, the sun god, or the light of the world, from the underworld of the winter, from where he arose to join his goddess Estre, Ishtar, or Astarte, which is where the pagan celebration of Easter is derived. These spring goddesses connect to the Super Bowl halftime show and its 2 female performers, but we will discuss that later. The Super Bowl also contained a Jeep commercial featuring Bill Murray that used the theme of Groundhog Day as well.
Okay, campers, rise and shine. It's Groundhog Day.
You will notice the name of the Jeep is Rubicon. A Rubicon is a boundary in which, once it has been crossed, commits a person to their action irrevocably. Crossing a Rubicon is the same as passing the point of no return. Spiritually speaking, accepting the mark of the beast would be an example of crossing a Rubicon, since that act would leave a person irredeemable and forever estranged from God.